Hello, everybody, and welcome to the All British Motocross Podcast from the Dirt Hub Network. We're going truly international this week with the podcast because I'm down here in Argentina getting ready for the MXGP, and we're interviewing one of our leading riders coming into the MX2 British Championship there, Jamie Keith, who's actually in Belgium, getting ready there for all the standing races ahead with the battlegrounds out there that he can practice on. So we'll have to talk to Jamie Keith in a minute. Meanwhile, I'm here with Paul Uten, Dirt Hub founder and creator, mastermind, whatever you want to call yourself there, Paul. But good to speak to you again. And how's it all looking in Dirt Hub world?
Yeah, starting to get there now. Starting to crank it up a notch. So looking forward to this MX2 preview show. The MX2 of the British Championship was pretty epic last year. It's going to be so again this year. Before we start, got to ask, what's the weather like in Argentina?
Well, I mean, it's Ben Rumbold in MXGP, so therefore it was raining when we landed. It was raining in Buenos Aires, the capital. Then we got another plane south to Bariloche, where the GP is, and it was raining there too. So at the moment, literally the sun's about to come up because it's about 7:20 here local time, and it's actually looking dry. So I've actually seen the Argentine sunshine for the first time, which is nice.
Is that until you walk outside? Is it like because they're cloud? At the moment you're indoors, so when you walk outside it starts raining.
Quite likely, yeah. I mean, we're all worried for it. It's just we were talking about it a lot last night. The first time we went out to just catch up with everybody, and for sure, we're just fingers crossed for minimum rain. Especially for the likes of Portugal that have had 2 straight years of it. We started to take it personal when it hammered down in Australia. That was really quite crazy because they hadn't had rain there for like 2 months. So it would be nice not to have the rain, but to be honest, at the moment it looks nice. The forecast for the weekend looks nice, and of course, the racing looks red hot. So it's going to be a good one.
Before we get into motocross, this could be a business opportunity for you. Like any place that needs rain, or like if there's a drought somewhere, fly you in. Rain comes down.
Man, I need to earn a living commentating. I can't have this reputation. I don't want people to not take me on for commentary because they're worried that I might bring the rain. So let's just drop this.
The problem is, it's just too much fun bringing it up.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Anyway, I've got a feeling one place it's not going to rain this weekend is in Tain. It's the Scottish Motocross Championship opens this weekend. So before we really delve into our MX2 preview for the British Championship, the Scottish Championship kicks off, and there's a lot of riders in there that we're going to see for the first time. A little bit heads up for some of the riders. Then MX1, Carlton husband Jason Meara's in there, Ben Edwards, Tristan Purdon on his new Lexa MX ride, Bobby Bruce is in there, so that's going to be quite interesting to see Bobby on his new ride for his own team. Brad Todd's in there. He's in MX1, so that'd be quite interesting. So there's the MX1 guys. There could still be some late entries in there. MX2, we've got Charlie Heyman in there running the number one, the reigning champ. We've got John Adamson there on the 252-stroke Fantic. Ryan Waggett then making his pro debut there. Jamie Keith, our guest, is going to be in there. Josh Vale. Hayden Stat is in there in MX2, which could be interesting. Joel Rizzi on his new ride as well. And Glenn McCormack's in there too. And Lucy Barker will be racing in that one as well. So, a lot going on. That is going to be really interesting. That could give us a little bit of a sign of things to come for Hawkstone. And it's always a great championship up there, the Scottish. I think it's going to be even stronger this year too.
Yeah, I mean, they got good prize money, good events. I've not been to one. I've heard a lot about it. The trip to Duns last year, everybody was talking about how good the Scottish scene is, and for sure. I mean, if you're close enough to get there, I would get there because it is a seriously good start to the year. Because with no Hawkstone, you've had these riders champing at the bit even further to get on track and show off what they can do, and now it counts for a championship. So I think that's going to be a fantastic day's racing up there. So for sure, can't encourage anybody to get up there because I know it's a distance from England even, but yeah, for sure for Scottish fans, that's going to be a real treat to see these guys go for it at the start of the year.
Yeah, no, definitely. So excited to see who emerges from that one at the top, and I think there will be some late entries in MX1. And yeah, we, Johnny basically did say expect some late entries that could be quite interesting. So that's exciting to see. One of the big bits of news that came through before we delve into our interview and then our full preview was Charlie Richmond then signing for the Crendon True 7 Honda team. That sort of came a bit out of the blue. We sort of were pretty set that it was going to be Conrad and Muse and Jamie Carpenter MX1 and Jake Nichols sort of doing a little bit MX2, although business and stuff like that has sort of kept Jake off the bike a little bit. But yeah, it sort of looks like it's sort of his ride essentially has gone to Charlie, and yeah, that was a great bit of news for our British 125 champ.
Yeah, superb. I mean, yeah, a good ride, obviously with Dave Thorpe there overseeing everything. So for sure, he's going to get the very best of input there. And yeah, Charlie is a talent. We all know that he was superb in the 125 championship last year, under pressure as well. He had good competition, and it wasn't easy at all. So yeah, for sure, coming up into that team, that's a great team. I think he still had some backing from Briggs commercials as well to help him with that spot. But yeah, for sure, being in the team, practicing around Conrad Muse will be an education. Just seeing how the pros go about their business, and for sure, Charlie is a good kid. He's a solid rider. Obviously, nice sort of quiet demeanor, nothing too flashy about him. And yeah, high hopes as there are for quite a few in this class. But it'd be very interesting to see what he does. And yeah, I was quite pleased to see that. Although we do have memories of Charlie Heyman not having a great debut season there because he came in with such great fanfare from the youth classes and didn't have a great time with that team. So we hope that Charlie has a different story, and that he'll be able to come through and enjoy that time. So yeah, fingers crossed. We hope it works out well for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's good to see Honda investing in youth, and that was one of the big things. And to be fair, they have done quite a lot through the years. They brought on some great talent. So yeah, it's exciting to see that PR come out. I was pretty pumped for Charlie Richmond there.
Nice. Well, on the subject of young MX2 Honda riders, we move to our interview. So yeah, let's get joined ourselves by our guest. Okay, here we are talking to Jamie Keith, getting ready to start his first, I guess, your first adult campaign, isn't it? MX2 British Championship coming up. Obviously, still in the EMX fold there overseas, but yeah, for sure. On this preview for the British Championship there, Hawkstone Park coming up. Thanks for joining us, Jamie. How's it all doing up there?
It's good. I'm loving it. New bike, new structure, new everything really. I'm loving it. I'm out in Belgium at the minute, getting some time in before the season starts. Got the Scottish this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good year. I hope so anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So preparing in Belgium, is that the sort of Lovell base where everyone's kind of staying and practicing? Is that where you are?
Yeah, I'm currently at Euro Parks. It's literally 10 minutes from Lommel. So staying around there for a week, training and riding with Conrad Muse, a few others. So yeah, it's going to be a good week. Has been up to now anyway.
Great stuff. And how is the 250? So how is the 250? How are you finding it in the off season, adapting from a 125?
Loving it. Ryan Thorpe's done my engine at 4 power, so couldn't really ask for a better engine there. RSS sorted my suspension right out, so that's all right. It just seems to all be clicking to place. I'm loving it. It's good.
Cool. And you started sort of quite early because you did a Bridgestone round, didn't you, right at the end of the season on your Honda and stuff. So, did that help you a little bit to sort of lead into the winter, having, a couple of races under your belt?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I had a bit of a crappy year, broke both collarbones and shattered my foot. So after I did my foot, which was about middle of the season, there wasn't really any point in coming back on a 125. So me and my dad, we decided to go 250 straight away and get a bit of a head start on all the people that are moving up with me. So got a few bikes sorted, waited till I was 100%, and then I felt all right. So I just went, well, why not? Let's race. So went to Fox Hills for last round of the Bridgestone. Won the MX2 for race 1. Had a little tip off in race 2. Didn't really want to push myself, hurt myself for nothing. Do you know what I mean? So I just pulled off, called it a day, and went home safe. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this year. I can't wait, really.
Yeah, because you can't really sort of. It's a difficult one. Last year was a very tough one for you because it started with so much promise, and it was just tough. I know what everybody says. Champions, find their strength in the tough periods, and as much as obviously you might not have known that at the time, do you feel that coming through what you have, with injuries and disappointments and stuff, do you feel that's gonna stand you in good stead going forward?
Yeah, I think last year was a tough one. I think that's probably one of the worst seasons anyone could ever possibly have. And when I did my foot, I ain't really told anyone really, but that was me done. I didn't really want to ride anymore. That proper tipped me over the edge. That both my collarbones and my foot. But I had a good few people around me and got my head back together and got fit and we're back ready for another year.
I mean, you're saying about how bad it was, and being out there and everything. I was kind of witness to it. I mean, the way they happened as well, Jamie, was so frustrating for you, wasn't it? Because the first one was in Spain in what was it? The first lap of qualifying time practice, I think it was in Kozar in the mud.
Second lap.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you set a decent time, and then the second lap that was that, and then in Sardinia, I remember distinctly on the warm-up lap, me and Joe out in Sardinia on a corner cheering you on, and you like acknowledged us because we were like with the only ones on that corner apart from the marshal, and then then he didn't come round. It was like, well, where is he? And then you literally just crashed halfway around the sighting lap.
They were both little crashes. So I mean, I had these big crashes like at Hawkstone at the start of the year. I went straight over the handlebars and I come away injury free. Well, the doctors reckon I did a vertebrae, but I agree to disagree. But yeah, literally 2 little crashes, little tip over in Spain, snapped the collarbone, and then I took the front coming out the corner and it spat me, a bit of a tank slapper, spat me over the bars and broke the other collarbone. And then in Germany, the week before Teufenthal, I dabbed my foot coming out the corner and my foot shattered. So I didn't really have any big crashes. They were all just little annoying tip-offs. And it ruined my year.
Yeah, the most frustrating kind, like you say, especially after you. I mean, there's video of that Hawkstone one, and that was a biggie. But I mean, at least you know that it's not from pushing too hard, it's not from hanging it out. It's just these little annoying things. So in that sense, I guess your confidence wise, you can still sort of take away that. Yeah, it's nothing wrong I've done. It's just sheer bad luck. But I guess that must have just even made it even worse, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, just to come back through before Paul answers his next one there. I mean, for yourself, just to reflect on your career a little bit, you've been coming through the youth ranks and then suddenly had that real sort of turn of speed on the 125, took the 2024 championship right down to the wire with Josh Vale, and obviously there was an engine there that went for you in the final round, which was a real heartbreaker for sure. So I guess that kind of started the train for you from that side of it. But otherwise, I mean, you've won the events in Europe, the Blue Crew races there that you did to get the JK ride. The JK ride was not quite what you expected. I know that much. I'm not expecting you to say much because you got to keep reputations and stuff as a young rider. But just to reflect on your career, how old are you now? And when do you when do you change age, if you like? When's your birthday? And then what are you set for this year as well as the British?
So I'm 17. I'm 18 in June, 17th of June. I turn 18, and then obviously we've got the British Championship, the MX 250. Gonna do that again next year if all goes to plan. And then I want to try and obviously it's a completely different structure and how everything's ran over there, but I want to go to America. That's my plan. I want to be in America more than Europe, to be honest. I think it's just better. it's an overall better thing in America than what we have in Europe. But obviously, I need to do what I need to do in Europe first, and then obviously we need to try and figure that one out after.
Yeah, so this year, is a bit of a, maybe like you said, a consolidation year. I was just going to ask you, just going back to last year, we did see you at Canada Heights, and you did go 1-1. But I was just going to say, you come sort of into it, but how much pain were you in? Because it looks uncomfortable, but you still managed to get it done.
Well, that was when I did. Was that when I did both, or was that just one? I can't remember.
Yeah, that was after the 2 collarbones, I think.
Yeah.
I think the first one was all right, but I think my most recent one, I was definitely in pain with it, but I could not say anything to anyone. Because obviously, if I was going around the paddock saying, "Oh, my collarbone's killing me," then it just gives everyone a massive confidence boost, doesn't it? So I just kept that one a bit quiet. Took a few painkillers. We was all right. We went 1-1, so happy days.
But that was a fantastic result, like you said, against all the odds. How was it? Because the 125 class and the British Championship was such a big success last year. How frustrating was it for you to see, the success and the live stream and see your competition on there and sort of from the sidelines?
I don't really know. I had good competition with me and Charlie, and there was obviously a few others that could have ran with me and Charlie if they did a little bit more on and off the bike. But I think me and Charlie was the most consistent week in, week out. As long as we both stayed on, I think it was either me or Charlie that were going to win it, wasn't it? Really. So, and I'm gassed for Charlie winning it. He's my mate, and he's always wanted to win it, and he's obviously stayed injury free and a bit more consistent than I did last year. So, yeah.
No, it's good. Like I said, it's good yourself and Charlie now elevated. There is a good bunch of rookies that are coming up into the MX2 Championship. We've seen Tommy Searle still running the roost at the moment. But do you feel yourself and some of the young guns coming through, are going to start catching up to some of the more experienced riders now?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't really want to say too much. I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. I don't want to say, "Oh, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this, and that," because obviously it's probably not realistic. So I'm just going to go out, ride my bike, do my thing, end up where I end up. Obviously, I'm not going out there to come 15th. I want to go out there and I want to win. Anyone wants to win, don't they? And I want to win like everyone else on the start line. But obviously, I need to be realistic. So go out, ride my bike, enjoy my riding, do what I know what I can do what I do, and hopefully we're in for a good year.
Yeah, and you've obviously this year you're going there with a lot of backing from Goswell, so yeah, I think it's going to be called like the Goswell Racing Honda there. So yeah, I mean, how important has it been for you to have that sort of support, especially after some issues there with JK Racing? I mean, you've got a good setup with the Honda, you've got some good backing. It's you and your dad, which is kind of the team that it's always been, I guess, for you. So I guess that in its side, you've got that comfort factor, if nothing else.
Yeah, massive help. Well, obviously, when I just got onto the 250, I was trying to sort out a plan for 2026. I was trying to get it all sorted, so nothing was like rushed. You know what I mean? So I just sent him a message and I said, "Any chance of a little bit of help?" Because I've heard that he's massive help, and he's a good lad, Charles. Yeah, we get on very well. So obviously we worked something out, and he's stepped up to be my title sponsor for 2026. Obviously, he paid for my trip to Spain at Christmas, which was a massive help. And yeah, we're gonna have a good year together. He's got some good things planned anyway. He's nuts. he's got a screw loose.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was actually my next question because a little birdie who also works the GPs tells me that, yeah, you're going to have a bit of a vlog going on because, of course, Brad Todd's going across to America. So, yeah, the Too Much Sauce vlog is going to be based around yourself. So we're going to see how nuts he is, I guess, yeah?
Yeah, you will. Oh.
Well, could your vlog be taken on tour then? So I was going to ask, obviously, quite a few riders have done sort of 1 or 2 rounds over in the States. Is there any, that if that's your goal going forward, is there any plans to sort of take in 1 or 2 rounds this year?
I don't know about 1 or 2 rounds like what Brad and that have done, because obviously that takes a lot of planning. But I definitely want to try and get over and do mini-O's at the end of the year. But that's not definite. That's just a thought that me and my dad and a few others have spoke about. It's just like a plan. Obviously, but everything just comes down to money, doesn't it? It's so expensive now to do anything you want to do. So that needs a lot of planning. I want to go and do it. That's what I want to go and do this year. Do the British, do my MX, have a good year there, and then go to the mini-O's and hand it to a few American boys. But we'll just have to see how the year goes, and we'll play it weekend by weekend. And hopefully we end up going at the end of the year.
Nice. And closer to home, you've got the Scottish Motocross Championship. You said you've got round 1 this weekend. Are you planning the whole series?
I'm not sure. I was planning on doing it. Well, I wanted to do it last year, but obviously I couldn't fit into my routine or my calendar or whatever. So I made sure I planned it so I could do it for this year. So I've come out to Belgium for a week, get a bit of sand practicing, and then head up to Tain. I haven't been to Tain for a while either, so it'd be good to go back there and first proper race in MX2. Hopefully there's a few boys there I can run around with, and if there isn't, there isn't. If there is, there is. And hopefully we're in for a good weekend in Scotland.
Do you want to know who's there? I've got the entry list here. Or do you not want to?
Yeah. No, well, who is it?
So I think Charlie Heyman's there, obviously running the number 1.
Mm-hmm.
John Adamson in there. Ryan.
Boy.
Got Joel Rizzi, Glenn McCormick, Josh Vale, Lucy Barker's in there. Yeah, so you've got a few in there.
Nothing we can't do.
That's fighting talk. I like it. I mean, you've got. Is it weird for you to be racing against the likes of Tommy and even John Adamson? These guys that you've been watching since you were in the small classes on track, and now you're going to be lining up alongside them. I mean, is that a bit weird for you, or is it just another rider on the track, or are you going to be a little bit wary? What do you are you one of those riders that just focuses more on yourself than the opposition?
No, I've got more focus on myself, and obviously I've got to focus on the people around me, really, because obviously I'm a rookie. I'll be a 17-year-old coming into Pro MX2, and there's it's not kids anymore, is it? It's full grown men, and I know if I was a full grown man and there was a 17-year-old rookie up my ass trying to pass me, I would not allow it. So I need to be careful on what I'm doing and who I'm doing it with, because I know there's a few people in there that don't like me and I don't like them. But no, I'm just going to ride my bike, end up where I end up, pass who I want to pass, let pass who I want to let pass, and then we're in for a good year.
Absolutely. You're just generating more questions now because I really want to know who you don't like or who don't like you. I won't put you in that spot, but
we'll leave it there.
We'll leave it there. We'll let the blogs answer that one. Yeah. Great stuff. And then, of course, you've also got 252 strokes in the mix. I mean, what's your view on the 4-stroke, 2-stroke thing? Do you think that will be an advantage at sandy circuits, or sorry, would that be an advantage? Yeah, in at certain circuits or not? I mean, what's it like for you racing against these 2-strokes now? If you're on a 4-stroke, how do you feel with that?
Obviously, when I was on the 125, we was against the 254 strokes, anyways. But obviously, a 125 2-stroke and a 254 stroke, they're nothing alike. But a 252 stroke and a 254 stroke, there has to be something similar. It doesn't really bother me, anyways. I'm not too fussed. Obviously, I've never done it before. It's a new thing in it, I think. Is it a new ruling? Obviously, I'm not too bothered. Bikes are bikes, aren't they? As long as it's a full gear, I'm not too fussed.
Yeah, and I think it's the more experienced riders that seem to be on the Ryan Waggett's obviously in there on the 2-stroke, isn't he? And then you've got John Adamson and Brad Todd. You're going to certainly hear them if they're behind you, aren't you?
Yeah, you'll definitely hear John Boy anyway.
Who's shouting at you?
It's cool. Well, so Hawkstone round 1 of the British Championship, is that, a happy hunting ground for you? Do you like Hawkstone?
Yeah, don't mind it. Obviously, it's a hard track. Good ground, nice track. I don't mind it. Quite like it. Yeah, not a bad track.
And with the calendar being announced there, I mean, are there any favourites, any bits that you're really looking forward to?
To be honest, I haven't really had a look at the calendar. I'll be honest with you. And don't really ever look at the calendar. I just get in the van and I end up where I end up.
Nice one. Any favourite tracks there? We'll put it that way. Any favourite places you really like?
Obviously, I like Hawkstone. Where else? I can't really think.
This is going well. The vlogs are going to be good, I'm sure.
I like Blacksall. Blacksall's a good track.
Yeah, and to end the season as well, that's going to be a pretty sweet place to go to end the season.
Yeah, well, I like Fox Hills and Blacksall. I like all of them really, but I can't really think of all of the names. And yeah,
Good thing though,
So
you like all the tracks, because that means you don't get any hang-ups in some respects of like, I don't like that type of track, or this one. Do you know what I mean? Like if you go in, they're all there to be raced. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's quite a good position to be in.
yeah. Well, you don't get anything out of rocking up to the track saying, "Oh, I don't like this bit," or "I don't like that bit," or "Oh, the ground's crap," or you don't get anything out of it, do you? Apart from putting yourself down. So just get it in your head that you like the track and you'll be all right.
It's so interesting because we interviewed Josh Gilbert 2 weeks ago, and he does not
yeah,
Him, and he was pretty. He pretty much said that, didn't he? He goes, it's getting the worst one out of the way type thing.
I don't mind it. I think Hawkstone's a good track. Any weather really, it can hold a lot of water as well, can't it? So it
Which is
should be all right whether it is or not.
Ben's commentating, so that's always a good sign.
you know it's going to rain. Just to ask you that you said Fox Hill. So is there something in the offing of maybe a wild card at the GP?
I don't know. My dad's asked me this, and I don't know whether I want to or not. I couldn't imagine the roost off a factory 250 round Fox Hills. That would be death. So I don't know yet. Maybe we'll see how we get on a bit further into the season, and if I want to do it, then I don't see why I won't be able to just jump in as a wild card. But at this moment in time, I don't think so.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All good. Nice one. So yeah, I know you're running shy on time, short on time there. So what's the plan today? Practice at Lommel, getting stuck in.
No, I'm going to Veldhoven again, Eindhoven. So I'm going. I went yesterday and
Cool.
going back there today because obviously I'm riding with Con this week, and he was speaking to Colden off and that yesterday, and they said, "Oh, they're going there, so we're going to go there and have a ride with Glenn and a few other boys, and then come home. Been out for a cycle this morning. Go out for another one when I get back, and then chill out, and then do a big cycle tomorrow, and then home Friday."
Yeah,
Cool. Nice one. So
well,
I mean,
can say, how close is Tain to you?
Oh, quite far. I'm going to get the boat from Amsterdam to Newcastle, and then I need to drive to get my dad at Carlisle, and then it's like 6 hours from there.
Oh wow. Okay, so I was thinking it was fairly close to you, but obviously not.
No, it's quite far. Good. From my house, I think it's a good 8 hours.
There we are.
wow, that is a trek. Although
I'm enjoying 10.
I can match the air miles on that one. Just landed in Argentina. Anyway, but yeah, thanks for talking to us, Jamie. Really good to see that you're doing well, and obviously practicing with the likes of Glenn and Conrad. I mean, that's great sand riders to be out with as well. So that for sure has got to be an education as well as everything else. So yeah, anybody you want to thank before you say cheerio?
I'd like to thank obviously Goswell being a big title sponsor, Ash Wild, Kieran Humphreys, RSS, Dave Thorpe, Ryan Thorpe, Hardcore Racing, Roland Shaw, HGS, Moto Shark, and everyone else. You know who you are. There's obviously few too many to write and list top name off the top of my head. So you know you are. I appreciate it more than you think.
Awesome stuff. Well, yeah, any stickers you see on Jamie's bike, definitely go to them for your business to help support his efforts in the years to come. So great to have you on board, Jamie. Best of luck with the Scottish, and yeah, we'll see you at the British on the 15th of March. So yeah, really going to enjoy seeing you out there, mate.
Perfect. Cheers. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to Jamie for joining us there from Belgium, getting ready for the weekends to come. Yeah, Scotland obviously straight away into the sand, and then Hawkstone. So yeah, certainly a sandy start. I do believe I haven't got my setup, Paul. I don't know everything to hand like I normally do. I can glance and see the calendar, and I can't do that here. But yeah, I believe he's got some sandy races to come as well in the EMX. He'll have Sardinia, I believe. So that'll be good for him to get stuck into that. So yeah, nice kid. Good talk, yeah.
Yeah, no, really good. I can't remember interviewing him that many times, to be fair. But yeah, he's certainly, he's sprightly, he's come to life, and I think there's a nice little bit of confidence there. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's expecting too much too soon, but I don't know. There's something about him. I can see by the end of the season when he sort of gets a few meetings under his belt, I think he could well surprise a few people. I think there'll be 1 or 2 rounds when he's just gonna really come to life. We've seen there's no doubt in his talent at all. When he showed that in the 125 round that he did do in the British, he wasn't at his best by any imagination and went 1-1. So yeah, he's gonna be a ride definitely to watch, and I wouldn't put a podium by the end of the season. Yeah, off his remit. To be fair, I could see that happening. But yeah, nice kid. Riding with Conrad and Glenn Coldenoff is not going to do you any harm, is it?
No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you couldn't wish for much more than that. I mean, interesting that Glenn's getting involved. So, yeah, maybe he is going to go into some sort of instructor role, I guess, when he moves forward in his career. But yeah, good to see that Jamie's out there with that caliber of rider. For sure, that's going to rub off on you. So, yeah, good stuff. Good to hear. So yeah, we've got Hawkstone Park coming up. Obviously, 15th of March is the big day. The Hawkstone International was cancelled. So all of you guys who wanted to go to Hawkstone in the International, get yourselves to the British Championship because you'll still get your Hawkstone fix. Okay, you won't see the big boys, the Grand Prix riders, but you will see, I think, 3 classes of fantastic action. So yeah, looking forward to it. And the MX2 class, this is the preview for this one. We'll do the MX1 class next week, but in terms of MX2, we've got to pick our top 5 for who's going to top the results for the first round. And we're both here scratching our heads, looking at our lists, wondering what we've done.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky, and obviously this is a preview show for the whole championship. So picking riders for one round is one thing. Picking riders that are going to go, looking at the championship contenders is a different thing altogether. Because yeah, I think a rider that is a championship contender that's not actually in my top 5. There's a couple actually that are not actually in my top 5, but we'll go through them. In terms of championship contenders, we have a champion. We have Tommy Searle as our champion. Still going, still looking good. Do you know what? I wrote him off so many times last year, especially after, breaking his back. And then what he did at Landrake was phenomenal. And the big question is can the old guard still stay at the top, or are the young guys going to have another year experience, a little bit more youthful speed on him? Is he going to be slowing down slightly and they're going to be getting quicker? How's it going to pan out? Is Tommy Searle going to be able to get another British title?
I mean, he's still preparing just as seriously as ever. I mean, okay, he's doing some training schools and everything, but you can see from his video diaries there, he is still out there putting the laps in, still putting in the motos out down in Spain, investing enough to go out there and get that under his belt. He still wants to be the boy for his video blogs, and he still wants to put himself out there as his own brand. And of course, yeah, moving forward as well, what he's going to do in the sport after he's finished racing. And yeah, like you say, the number of times we count him out, and then live to regret it. I mean, yeah, it's very difficult to see many people get past him as of yet for another year. But yeah, will the others finally get in amongst it is the question. So that's the big thing. I mean, we've had quite a few years where it's been old guard, and then like the new guys coming through, and then of course, yeah, we lost Mel Pocock to injury there, and obviously, yeah, Jake Nichols just to his business and the advancing years. So yeah, from that side, Tommy is kind of almost the last of the old guard up there. I mean, you have got, yeah, like we say, Brad Todd and John Adamson, who are much more in the veteran category, coming down and racing in the 250 class on two strokes. So those guys never really been championship contenders in any of the classes they've raced at British level. I mean, obviously they're both Scottish champions, but yeah, can they get amongst them on a consistent basis amongst all these young guns to be considered championship threats is the big question for me on the likes of Brad Todd and John Adamson. I could see those two tangling. I could just see it happening again because they came together in Scotland last year. It was entertaining. So, yeah, in terms of the old guard there, Tommy is kind of the last of the of that generation. So, yeah, will he deliver again? Is up for debate, but we shall see. And of course, yeah, there's always the factor of injury, and it's tougher to recover from that when you're older. But he completely defied that logic when he recovered from that back injury, like you said. So, yeah, that is the question: is that pack of young guns going to be able to bring down Tommy? And that's the question.
I think the one thing I'd say is his vlogs, I don't think show how hard he works. I think Tommy Searle is, speaking to people and interviewing different people. I think Tommy works extremely hard. You know what I mean? And I think in a way he probably shelters that a little bit from his vlogs because I think that's his secret weapon. And you can see that in a lot of top athletes. And I think it's an interview I listened to with Jeffrey Hurlins, and that it's that little bit of psychology in there that that you work harder than anybody else. And I think Tommy's still got that. We see him as this vlogger, this cheeky chap, this family man, but behind all that, he has got an absolute insane work ethic, and he also just really, really wants to win.
Yeah, I mean, an old athletics commentator came up with a nugget of a quote that my dad continually pumped into me every time I was slacking a bit, and it was basically the will to win is essential, obviously, for an athlete, for any sportsman, but the will to prepare is everything. It's the getting up in the week and putting the hours in when you don't want to and when the weather's bad and all this stuff, and that is the essential part of any sportsman, and Tommy has clearly still got that. So yeah, that is the key there, and as long as that is happening, then yeah, then I think he will be a factor because yeah, then the will to win will take over, and he'll have the cash in the bank to deliver what he wants. So yeah, I still see him very tough to beat this season, and that's one of the most fascinating things about it.
So the question is who is that next rider that has got that work ethic and will to win? It's got to be pitched with talent. So who is going to be that guy out of the next batch of riders that can topple him? And that's the big thing, because I've got a big list of riders here, of riders that did show that they could beat him on a given day, but can they do it over a championship? The one that come closest was Charlie Heyman, who is going to be starting his trying to retain his Scottish title this weekend, but Charlie Heyman was the closest to him. And consistency and getting results continuously, he was the guy. And to be fair, he was starting to show some sort of breakout speed towards the end of the season as well, probably pushing himself even further. So, with another winter under his belt, could Charlie Heyman step it up and go one step further?
Yeah, I mean, Johnny, everyone knows he's got bucket loads of talent, amazing rider, smooth, fast, clinical, efficient is probably a word you would use. The big question with Charlie, and it's always a question for smooth riders, is has he got the killer instinct? Will he go for the jugular? Will he go for that aggressive pass? that might make the difference. And that's the sort of thing I'd want to see from Charlie this season if we're thinking he's going to move forward from here, because for sure he's got a national, I would say European, even world level talent. He's a great rider, beautiful to watch. He really is a craftsman around the track, and with maturity, he's going to develop into a professional rider. There's no doubt. He's a professional rider. He's a Scottish champion. He's there already, and I'm pretty sure he can maintain it for the rest of his 20s at least. But to go next level, championship, British champion level, which his talent is there for that. It's now to show that fire, that aggression, and that move. I want to see Charlie putting a few moves in when it's necessary this year. I don't want to see him flake on the last lap or get Tommy nabbing past him. It would just be great to see. He's the sort of rider that will win on pace, but then if somebody else has that pace, then it's that final little bit of that final 5%, if you like, that I think Charlie has yet to really show that he's got, because he didn't win a race last year. He was second in the championship, but he did not win a race. I think it's high time that he did that. So yeah, fingers crossed that's what we see from Charlie, and then we can say that he is definitely a legit championship contender. That I think is the big question that Charlie needs to answer, and I'm sure he knows that. I'm sure he's been working on that with the SC Sport and Tasmania team. So yeah, fingers crossed for Charlie Heyman. It's just such a great rider to watch, and I would love to see that final 5%.
And I think that final 5% might come if he does win a race. Do you know what I mean? Like when you pass that line, when you get that finish flag, suddenly there's a little bit of belief. And sometimes with that belief also comes with a little bit of aggression, because you sort of are meant to be here. So maybe that's just what he needs. Maybe a race win will just give him that little bit of impetus. In terms of a race win, a rider that I think did elevate him, and I think is a definitive title, one of the title favourites, is Ben Musto, because I think his race win that we saw was a really mature race win. Do you know what I mean? Like he looked really good at the front. So Ben Musto on the AC United Gas. Then last year, we have to remember as well, last year that Ben was studying for exams, like he's only a teenager. This year, I think, his whole focus will be racing. And I just, again, he's a rider that has got that little bit of niggle, a little bit of edge about him. And I can see Ben being a really tough character if he can keep it together. Again, we saw that with Charlie, just scoring points every round, always being there or thereabouts. He was only 7 points off Tommy Searle in the end. We know Tommy did miss a couple of races, but he was close. Ben needs to do that. If he can, he needs to get his wins, but he then needs to back that up as well. And if he can, I think he's a certain title contender.
Yeah, he's got that mental chip on his shoulder. Going through the youth ranks. He was often the second or third guy. Most of the noise and most of the attention was going elsewhere to people that have since, sort of faded from prominence. But for sure, Charlie. For sure, Ben has got that chip on his shoulder, that Cooper Webb sort of element where he's never the favourite, and he always says, "Well, stuff you, I'm going to do it." And he's got that Prado factor where he can start and he can stay there. So, he can get a great start and he can hold it. He can withstand pressure. Musto for sure. There is a shoulder injury that would have put him out of the Hawkstone International. He wasn't quite ready to race that, even before it was cancelled. And apparently it is still a niggle. So that is the big worry for Ben, is that he's finally come to this point where, like you say, he's not doing his exams. He can focus properly on chasing the pro career, and then this little injury niggle comes in. So yeah, fingers crossed that he can get over that by the time Hawkstone rolls around, because he's good at Hawkstone. He's great in the sand, and he's got that aggression, that hard charger element. So he's almost got the missing piece that Charlie hasn't shown yet. So those two riders together are almost a complete motocrosser, but that's often the case. So it's for Ben. I just really hope that injury can be recovered from, and that he can at least get to close to 100% for this season. But it's a worry for sure.
Yeah, you don't want to be coming into it with any sort of niggles, do you? You want to be coming into it fit, healthy, and ready to go. One rider, again, another one that we want to see fit, healthy, and ready to go, because we did see some of what his potential is at the start of the year. Billy Askew, is this the year that we see the real Billy Askew, if you know what I mean, that the one that, you know, because he's got such a bright star shining over him. You know, he's got that Tommy Searle link. You know, he's got the team, but we've yet to quite see it all come together yet. And I think we do need to see it this year. And I think if we are going to see it, it will be this year too.
Yeah, I mean, Billy's never lacked in self-belief. You know, he's racked up the wins in the youth classes, you know, and he's always gone to the next level and thought, yeah, there's no reason why I can't win this. So he's got that self-belief. It's just, yeah, he's had crashes, little injuries, which come from the crashes. And he had a big one, and at Duns, it was quite a nasty one where he went off the side of the track. And no matter how confident you are, those are always going to give you that question mark in your head. So it's always something to get over when you have a big crash. But, you know, many riders have done that and still come through to be world beaters. So, you know, Billy, he has been the shining hope now for the last few years. And yeah, like you say, it's one where, you know, I just really hope that he can bring it to the fore. And, you know, if he can challenge at the top of the MX250, I think he's got the talent for that. And obviously, yeah, if he can now start to win those races against Tommy, then we will really see that he can step up to the level that we all know he's capable of. So, yeah, it's a big one for Billy. He's got that sort of star quality. If he can deliver the results now, then then we have got the real hope on our hands again. But that is now, yeah, it's one of those make or break years. We always say it, but yeah, for sure, he's capable, and it would be good to see. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, and another rider I'd sort of put in this category with Heyman and Musto and Askew of sort of being sort of right there. You know, we've certainly seen the speed there to win around. Whether or not that can, you know, there's enough there over 8 rounds to be a title contender, I don't know. But we've certainly seen enough from this rider to be a podium rider at every round, really. And that is Joe Brooks. Obviously, we only saw him towards the end of the season sort of come out of the blue and just look outstanding, really. And yeah, you look at that. If he had that sort of speed and those results over a year, he would have been right up there challenging for the title.
Yeah, I mean, we went through the year asking when's you know, well, one thing we've had with Joe in the past, and obviously, yeah, it's tricky with injuries and everything, but Joe seems to have always struggled to put 2 races together. But he did so last year. You know, at Duns, he was fantastic. He did superbly well there, and yeah, considering his injury issues, it was a real revelation. So Joe Bruce has got that outright speed and talent. Always had it. Always looked good in the back from when he raced a 125 against 250s in the youth class and was the only 125 to beat a 250 in a particular season. He's a solid rider. He's got the back in, it seems. You know, he can do he seems to have the back in to do these things on his own, racing a private triumph. And yeah, he's a great hope. And yeah, if he can put a whole season together of 2 motos every round, 2 finishes, there's no reason why Joe Brooks can't be a title contender. I would, and it's the same with any of these kids. And I'm sorry for Tommy and his fans, but we all want to see these kids beat Tommy Sturr because we know that he's the benchmark. That's just how it is. He knows it as well. And I'm pretty sure that he wouldn't mind seeing the next generation come up and put one on him because then he knows that, you know, he's got a successor, if you like. Because yeah, Joe is one of those with all of these kids. Yeah, they've got promise, they've got the ability, and they're now old enough and mature enough to really get to the next level. And Joe is one of those. And yeah, I think out of all of them, I feel like he's the most likely to take the next step. Bizarrely, you know, between him and Ben Musto, I think those two are the ones where I think, yeah, they could well take it to the next level and even be a threat on the world stage. But so yeah, that's how I feel with Joe Brooks. Really, yeah, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I do think he's just how he came in last year was really impressive. You know, he came in gold. Do you know what I mean? With no real expectations either, and shocked everyone. So a rider next on my list to talk about is Chambers Racing's Ollie Colmer. Getting plenty of laps in the winter, working really, really hard. Done a pre-season race in Lirop and did all right. And this is a guy that can grind out results. If the clouds follow you throughout the British Championship, I can see, because Ollie Colmer can grind out results, whatever the weather. I think Ollie will be, I think he should sit in next year in the van, to be fair, because I think 8 wet rounds, I think he can grind out results every race. He can just keep going, can Ollie. He's a tough character, but also he did show, we say that about grinding out results, but he did show some really good speed, and especially at the final round as well, where he was really close to getting on the box, with third in the second race at Ling. I think Ollie could surprise a few. He can make good starts as well. So I wouldn't count him out of a couple of podiums this year. And over the rounds as well, similar to Charlie Heyman, I think Ollie could be a consistent rider all the way through, and could put himself up in the rounds of a podium overall position, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're following the GPs this year, then Ollie will be the main, maybe the only Union Jack on the lineup for the MX2 class. He is going to take on the MX2 Grand Prix in Europe. He's not here in Argentina, but yeah, Chambers will keep him going. He's out there at the Chambers facility in Lommel, staying out there, getting prepared. Like you say, he's a worker, he's a grinder, he's a grafter. He has that essential mental element of willing to prove himself every time he lines up. And yeah, it is something that I would like to see Ollie on a bigger bike sooner rather than later. I think his size is such a penalty on the MX2 bike that I believe he should be on this 250 for 2 more years maximum. Because yeah, I just think that the trouble with the starts is then the penalty for the rest of the race. And that is an issue there. I think in the olden days, if he was growing up in the time of Dave Thorpe, Graham Noyce, Neil Hudson, he would have gone to a 500 at 18 years old. He would have been straight into the big bikes. No questions asked. And I think that would be something that I think he should think about. But yeah, he has got the capability to grind out results, like you say. He scored good points in the mud in Kozar, which was like nothing else you've ever seen. And yeah, he's a really solid worker. And like you say, he got no shortage of pace. It's just those starts that's the big question mark for Ollie Colmer, and that's why I would struggle to put him as a championship contender, because he's got to fight through the pack, which is a tough pack, on too much of a regular basis, So I hope I'm proven wrong, as with all of these guys. I say it about everybody. I would love to see all of these doubts just blasted out of the way and see some of these kids come through and really show their promise on the European and world stage. And it's great that Ollie's racing MX2 GPs this year. I think that will bring him on no end, and he is one that responds to being in fast competition. He does bring himself forward. He started one year at the back of the MX250, and at the end of the year was in the top 10. And I think that he's got that capability to drag himself forward, especially around other riders that are quick. So from that side, yeah, another real promising talent. I just worry that his size is going to constantly put him towards the back in the first lap, and that always makes it tough. So yeah, fingers crossed that, as with everybody, fingers crossed. I say it too many times. So I just want to be the optimist, but yeah, I think that Ollie's a real talent as a professional for years to come.
He has made some good starts, mind. He did make some cracking starts. So, like I said,
yeah, I mean,
if
it
he
is
can be
possible.
consistent with that, or put himself within the sharp end, each gate drop, then that is going to massively help, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he needs to just constantly remind himself on the start line that, you know, it's so much easier to work forward from fourth or fifth than it is from 15th. And that is the big thing that, yeah, he can always grind out the result, but it's so much easier to do that when you're starting higher up. So that is the big thing for Ollie, I think, always. But the good thing is they can let loose on that 250 and tune it as much as they like, because he'll need the power, and he will use it.
Yeah, no, for sure. One person who did show that they had some power at the last round, then Callum Mitchell. Then we caught up with him a couple of weeks ago on the show. Then for the Works Total Triumph team, powered by MXology. Get the full thing in. Callum Mitchell, just came out of the blue with a phenomenal result at Ling. Likes Hawkstone as well. We've seen him do really well at Hawkstone. Fully focused on motocross this year. We know we're not doing the speedway this year. Yeah, I think he meets in the middle of where he said he took the pressure off and was working, which he still is. And the other angle when he was like full on pro, I think he's in that middle bit now, which I think is going to be the right balance for Callum. I think he's going to do similar to what he did last year. He's going to have some storming rounds, but I don't know if there's going to be enough storming rounds to put him on the podium at the end of the season. But he's certainly going to be up and around that sharp end of quite a few rounds, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a little bit towards the mid-20s range now. So, yeah, for Callum, he has got enough experience, and yeah, he's a super stylish, talented rider, very good in the sand as well. And yeah, he's got the fitness and the ability to carry that through. So, yeah, he could be a real dark horse for a top three in the championship. I'd be surprised if he was champion. I really would be. Like you say, just delivering that constantly week in, week out, I think is the main thing he needs to address. But yeah, he's a really good rider, really nice guy, and yeah, you wish nothing but success for him. And yeah, to see him up on the sharp end again would be brilliant. And even a wake up call to others that have written him off, because yeah, I think he's still very much an underdog. But yeah, no, it'd be great to see him up there.
Yeah, definitely. And talking of being written off, and I mean this in the nicest way, because 2025 was not a good year for this rider. You can dress it up however you like, but 2025 for Joel Rizzi was not good. He went as a sort of a test rider essentially, for the 450 Triumph, but it didn't matter what happened. It wasn't a good year. Couldn't get it to work, couldn't get starts. Even when he made starts, he just did not look a happy rider at all. But my sources tell me that he is very different this year. Back on a Kawasaki, looking really good in preseason. This is Joel Rizzi is a rider that can win rounds in MX2 for sure. And if he can win two or three, then he could well be right at the top, pushing for the title come the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Rizzi is one of those where such a promising youth career, such a promising young rider, but he's gone through the meat grinder that motocross just sometimes brings to the game. He's gone through problems with teams and injuries, and confidence has smashed, and just when he gets going, something happens. And he showed in 2024 when he had a good, solid, stable environment on the Kawasaki there, that he can deliver. And then yeah, I think moving up to the 450, the Triumph, there were issues with parts. There were all sorts of things going on, brand new bike and all the rest of it. And I think that just hit him at the wrong moment, really. So yeah, going back to what he knows, which is the 250 Kawasaki, with a great team, that Craig Chamberlain team 772 is a really nice outfit, professional, and still jovial, still not too like pressure. So from my side, I think the Rizzi could well be another one that might surprise us in 2026. He's almost fallen off the radar after last year because, yeah, it was such a tricky year for him. And I just hope that the year has gone into his mental sort of energy reserve, or whatever you want to call it, to dig deep on. Like, you don't want another year like that. I'm going to work hard enough to make sure it doesn't happen again, that I am still in the mix, in the conversation when it comes to top 3 or 5 contenders, because on talent, Joel surely is one of those riders. And now, with the machinery and the team behind him, there's no reason why Joel cannot be a championship contender, which, we probably haven't even thought of just because of what happened to him last year. But if you can put all that behind him, use it as fuel to burn forward into 2026, then yes, we could see his talent come to the fore. He's still got to prove that he can do that, because again, he's one of those where great talent, but when riding comes easy, sometimes it's difficult to get as motivated to push yourself forward. And I think that Rizzy is one of those where it comes very easily to him as in terms of the riding ability. So now it's just got to drive himself to make the best of that and bring the results that his talent justifies. He's certainly capable of that. And it would be good to see, because, and again, he's another one that's a great character, really fun, good to interview, and could be a real ambassador for the sport if he can just deliver the consistent results. So fingers crossed for Joel.
Another fingers crossed. Now, a rider that team, like you said, some teams are probably maybe not putting the pressure on their riders. But this rider, I feel his team has put the pressure on, because I think they expect him to win this title. And it is the Gabriel SS24 KTM rider, Gian Dunson. I think Sean Simpson expects Gian to win this title. Might be wrong, but I just get that vibe that they expect him to win it.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. Sean is a demanding taskmaster. He's worked his socks off to get to where he got to as the most successful 450 rider the UK produced this century. Let's not forget that. He's a a great team boss, really well organized, and yeah, for sure. He's not bringing British. He's not got British riders lining up for him with Oriol Oliver, the Spaniard, obviously, and then the Dutch kid Gian Dunson. The reason he hasn't got that is because he needs to be delivering championships as part of his KTM contracts. He needs to be delivering domestic championships and getting these riders up in both the Europeans and the GPs. So Dunson is coming from that Dutch production line that also produced the likes of Kyler Wolf. Kai Karsmaker is another one in that same sort of bracket, and a bunch of Dutch kids whose names escape me at the moment. It's early, but Gian Dunson is one of those where, again, another with fantastic talent, and he has shown some amazing speed, challenging at the top of the MX125, very nearly a champion in that class as recently as 2024. Last year, the 250 struggled with it a little bit, had some injuries. And I've heard that there may be some motivational sides of it as well. That there were distractions that kind of like off track that kind of hurt his performance on it. And yeah, we just hope that he can bury those and be a solid rider. But yeah, I've almost forgotten him. I actually, when you mentioned his name, I was like, oh yeah, Dunson. I forgot about him. So is that a factor? Is he going to be able to bring himself up there? Because yeah, for sure he should be, if he's delivering on the kind of promise that he's shown through his career so far. So yeah, Dunson should be a title contender. His team definitely expect him to be a title contender, but the question still remains: has he got it in his brain to be that man?
So onwards to rookies, mate. There's a few standout rookies that have moved up. 3 of our 125cc contenders, our 125 British champion, who we spoke about, Charlie Richmond, obviously newly of the Crendon True 7 Honda team. How exciting for Charlie. Where do you see him fitting in to the equation? It's a big jump. We saw it with Josh Vale last year. It's a big jump mixing with the pro class, but he is doing it with a lot of backing, which is certainly going to help. A lot of experience under his wings. But where do you sort of see Charlie Richmond fitting in, and where do you think is a good position for him to be in? Where do you think he's going to be satisfied being in?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, came out of that 125 pack to take it last year. He'd always kind of been a bit overshadowed by his competition, racing against the likes of Billy Askew and Josh Vale as well. Then Charlie was always kind of the next one along. And now he's won that 125 title, so he's got that under his belt, goes to the pro class. I did mention there that Charlie Heyman had some issues with that Honda team, but I think Charlie Richmond is much closer in terms of like just geography. He's West Country boy, so he's closer to Conrad Muse and also to the Crendon team, which is based in the southwest. So yeah, I think that will help him because he will be able to hook up with them a lot more and form a bit more of a bond. I think it could be a bit daunting to have Dave Thorpe as your team manager. And if you don't quite gel with him, it could be even trickier. So I do hope for Charlie's sake that he's able to do that. And I think the Honda is a better bike now than it was a few years ago in this 250 class. So I don't think it's going to be as much of a disadvantage because the bike really matters in MX2, especially in the sand. If the power ain't there, the KTM is just going to walk all over you. And I think that I think Charlie's got the better chance to do that now. I say KTM's and Triumphs as well because it's a very similar bike. But yeah, they've taken the same principles. But yeah, the Honda is a better machine, so I hope that Charlie's able to make it work for him. It is a meat grinder. It is very tough, but there's nothing we want more than the rookies to come in and just dazzle us and blow us away, because then we might think we've got somebody on our hands that can take it further still. So yeah, that's the big question for Charlie. Is he able to come out of that shadow, go up against these big guys, and emerge on the bright side? That would be it's such a big challenge, almost too big to think about for him. I can imagine he's just trying to plug away, get his laps in, be as good as he can be, and then we'll see where he comes out. But yeah, he's promising. He's a good economical rider. Nothing too flashy, nothing too out there. But yeah, the sort of rider that can deliver results in 30-minute motos. The races get longer as well. There's all these factors that rookies have to take into account. Yeah, I don't see any reason why he can't get up into the top 10. And if he can get higher than that, then brilliant. Then we're really talking.
We did an article earlier in the week actually about Charlie and that, and within that he said pretty much 10 to 15 is basically what he's going for, but he would love a top 10, and I think that's a reasonable expectation. The other rider that comes in with sort of a little bit of
one more thing about Charlie as well. There's a lot of sand riders out there, a lot of guys who train in the sand and get things ready. Charlie, I think, could be really strong on the hard pack circuits. I think he's much more of a hard pack specialist than maybe many others of his generation. He hasn't been out in Belgium pumping out the motos in the sand. I think that as a hard pack rider, I think he could really be a contender on those circuits. Sorry, go far away. I interrupted you then, but I want to make the point.
No, fair shout. No, I was going to say Jamie Keith, obviously, as we spoke about just a second, spoke with him, has got a little bit of support from Honda and riding out there with Conrad Muse. So he is another one in our rookie category. I think Jamie Keith, again, I think expectation is top 10. The only thing with Jamie, I could just see maybe a couple of results where he just has a really good start and shows Bristol speed. I could see him possibly breaking into that top 5 with 1 or 2 rides.
Yeah, and as he showed in his interview with us, he's got confidence, so he's got the self-belief to get himself out of the gate into the top 10 and stick around and stay there. And that's what we really want to see. So yeah, Jamie Keith is a very, very promising rider. Such a horrendous year last year, like you said, with the injuries that didn't come from pushing too hard, didn't come from anything that he really massively did wrong, just little mistakes that give you such a horrendous penalty. So yeah, let's hope that those have abandoned him now. He's got his bad luck out of the way, and that he can move forward with his career because it's promising. He could shine very brightly. Yeah, I think this year his potential might even be higher than Charlie's. For sure, they'll be measuring against each other on similar machinery. Jamie going on his own and Charlie with the big team. So that's just another thing that's going to burn with Jamie as well. So yeah, lots of juicy little stories amongst those two.
Cool. And coming into Hawkstone, a rider that last year stunned everybody at Hawkstone Park was Ryan Wagger. Went 1-1 in the 125s and was outstanding. Going to be back on a 2-stroke so he's keeping to his two-stroke roots. Ryan Waggett's going to be riding a 252-stroke rookie season in the pros on a track that last year he was phenomenally good on. He's a great character as Ryan as well. It's going to be tough on a 252-stroke in your rookie year, but if there's one kid that can put himself in the mix, I think he's going to be one of them.
Yeah, for sure. As a commentator, I always like Ryan because I can pick him out from a mile away, with the pink and yellow stuff going on there. Not sure if he's carrying that again this year, but yeah, Charlie's a very bright talent. Starts always good there. I think it's a shame he's on the two-stroke. Honestly, I think that this young, I think you should be pushing yourself forward on the four strokes because that's the future. But or if that's the present, really, let's face it. But yeah, he's gone with it, so why not? It's a good. I think he'll be very much a contender for top tens in sand, because he's very good on that, and the 252 stroke is a good weapon on that sort of stuff. So I think that Ryan is one of those where I actually think he's better than he thinks he is. I don't know if himself or his family believe that he's got capability to be a full-time pro. Otherwise, I don't know why they would have gone a 252 stroke route. I just think that he's actually better than that. I think he could well be a serious contender if he believes it, but we'll see. I mean, if he can deliver some results on this two-stroke and get into some towards top tens or even top fives, then you actually might be looking at a pro career here, and I'm sure that's what he'd want. So it'd be good to see if he can do it. But I just think that move to a 252 stroke shows me that it almost shows. And again, I apologize to the family and the team and anybody if I'm offending anybody here, but it's almost like if you're taking a 252 stroke, do you really believe that you're going to be pushing yourself forward in a pro career? Because four stroke is where it's at the moment. Two strokes are fun, and it's certainly got that retro feel, and you'll get fans as a two-stroke warrior. But is it really where you want to be as a teenage kid moving forward? I mean, that Jakubs Kubelins, the kid from JK Racing Yamaha, did supremely well on one in Mantova in perfect conditions for a two-stroke, up amongst the MX2 top boys. So they can do it, and maybe it's not that bad a career path. I don't know, but I don't know if that's where I would want to go if I was in his position as a promising teenager. I might be proven wrong. We'll see.
Interesting to see Tain this weekend in the Scottish Championship, because Ryan is very, very good in the Scottish Championship. He's very good up there. And I think he could well get on the podium in MX2 up there. So that would be interesting. I think that'd be a big telling point of where he's at. Other rookies that coming in, Zane Stevens has jumped up. Then he was a top 10 runner in the 125s. The Cork brothers, Max and George, who did well in the British Youth Championships last year, they've both moved up as well. So there's a few more rookies in the mix. On the other end, then last year's sort of top rookie was Josh Vale. Come away from the championship in 10th, which I think was a good result for Josh. So the question, I suppose, for Josh on the Phoenix Tools Fantic ride is whether he can nudge that up and join the likes of Heyman and Askew, who have got another year sort of ahead of him. So can he sort of get maybe from the top 10 to the top 8? That's where I think I'd like to see Josh just nudging up that little bit closer to that sharp end.
Yeah, I mean, I would go so far as to say top fives should be the target for Josh Bell now. He rode Jamie Keith very hard in 2024. That 125 championship between those two went down to a mechanical for Jamie, but Josh took it, and he followed through the classes very well. He went from being almost an underdog on the 85 to suddenly being like top 125 rider. And now, second year MX2. He's with that Phoenix Tools Fantic team still, which is great. He's got that continuity. They're a great team. Barry Moore runs a very slick operation there. And they deserve every success they can get. And for me, Josh Vale now, if you're looking at true career potential, we had it down as a possible EMX threat. That might have sailed. That ship might have sailed. Yeah, no, we don't really know. But for sure, he's got potential to be a top 5 British Championship rider. And this year is down to him to show that, really, because I think he can deliver it. He's certainly got the ability. Same old story. Got the ability. Have you got the belief? Have you got the work ethic? And that is something that Josh really will be out to prove this year that he can do that, because I think he has flown under the radar. He's in our others section, whereas other riders who've achieved what he did in the youth classes are almost now in the contender section. So is he going to be a contender? He's really got to show us that he can do that. And as with everybody, I hope he does. It'd be great to be talking about Josh Vale as a podium contender. And I think that he's got the ability to do that. It's just everything else that needs to come together.
Talking of flying under the radar, Glenn McCormack, Chambers Racing KTM, was 5th in the championship last year. And often doesn't get talked about because he just solidly gets good results. And that, obviously, 5th is, ahead of Ollie Colmer, Callum Mitchell, Billy Askew, Josh Vale. The list goes on. And the Chambers Racing rider, Glenn McCormack, just keeps doing it. He was good in Scotland. He'll be good again this weekend, I'm sure, in Scotland as well. So Glenn McCormack, cannot count him out of a good overall result. We might not see him on the podium each week. We might not see him in the top 5 each week, but you will see him in the top 10, grinding out results and always racking up points. And come the end of the season, that's what got him a fantastic top 5 result.
Yeah, Mr. Reliable grinds it out, and a great team, that Chambers team as well. Always put a great bike underneath him, and can grind it out. Raced at the Nations, I think, year before last at Ernay. So he's got that the Irish grit there, and for sure. Like you say, he's flown completely under the radar there to get 5th in the championship. Lots of other things happened, of course, and that is the thing. It's whether when everyone's healthy and firing, can Glenn get into that 5th place position? Because you look at the lineup, you don't really see him in the top 5, until maybe injuries start to affect things. So I hope that he can. It's the team certainly deserve it. It's a solid bike, and he's one of those riders that make the age rule in MX2 for the World Championships a bit of a nightmare, because he's a shorter guy. He's clearly a 250 rider, he can grind out the results. And I think more of the same from McCormick. If he can get higher than that, it would surprise me, but it wouldn't be unwelcome.
To 2 other riders, going back to our 2 strokes, then John Adamson, also now Phoenix Tools team, and Brad Todd. Although Brad Todd, I don't know if his plans have changed. Obviously, Brad's going to do some rounds, but obviously his goal is America. So he has said that the rounds he does, he's going to be on a 2-stroke, although this weekend in the Scottish Championship, he's down MX1. So I don't know on that one. But the goal was that Brad Todd is going to be on a 2-stroke. John Adamson's also going to be on a 2-stroke. Like you said, can we separate them? Who knows? That is going to be a pretty epic little battle then. You put those 2 together with Ryan Waggett. That little sort of trio there. That is going to be a nice little wall of 2-stroke sound coming around the bend there. But you couldn't put a podium out of reach of either John or Brad on a good day. You could not do it. And to be honest, it would be pretty damn popular to get a 2-stroke on the podium, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, these 2 could be the complete nightmare for the rookies. Can you imagine being a rookie rider and coming across John Adamson on a 252-stroke Fantic, shouting at you, screaming at you, revving the nuts off the bike with a clutch in coming into the corners? I mean, he's going to be an absolute nightmare for some of the riders out there. And in honesty, he probably should be in the contenders class, because he's a good starter. He's aggressive. He's fast. He doesn't give a rat's ass about who's around him. He's a wild man. Somehow he's not crashed his brains out and killed off his last few seasons, but he proved in Arena Cross he could get out of the gate, and he's afraid of no one. He gave Dean Wilson a big elbow in a head-to-head when he had no right to take on Dean Wilson in a Supercross race. It's just absolutely out there. John is one that we should treasure in the British Championship because he's a nutcase and we love him being like that. So yeah, he could be a real factor. That bike, especially in soft tracks, that bike could be fantastic. And it would not surprise me at all to see him as a podium guy. He was second in the British Championship to Conrad Mewes in 2021. He was a very, very good rider at that level, and there's no reason why he still is a good rider at that level. There's no reason why he shouldn't be up there. But yeah, he's going to be a factor. I can see him really ruffling a lot of feathers, especially amongst the young riders, because they won't have seen much like him before. And yeah, he's going to be a really interesting wild card in this championship. So yeah, can't wait to see what he can do.
Yeah, like I said, he is entertainment, and I think that is the one thing he brings. There's a video from Hawkstone a couple of years ago when he completely sends it, just mental. Bit more of that, be quite entertaining. John, give us some viral footage. That would be good. But yeah, no, love, just a nice dude as well. Just a nice dude. What proper like hardcore British motocross rider. So yeah, looking forward to seeing John at it. And like I said, I can still see him getting some really, really good results.
Yeah, for sure. And then you got Brad Todd, like I say, he's focusing on the AMAs. That's what he really wants to do, which is fair enough. Nothing wrong with that if he can get the package together, which I think he has. Yeah, playing about the 250 KTM again. Perhaps not as much of a wild card as Adamson is for sure, but again for the rookies and the young riders to come up against Brad Todd on a 252 stroke, that's going to be a challenge. He's a big guy. He won't be pushed around, and he won't care who they are, what their reputations are. So for me, it's that classic MX2 factor, the classic 125 championship factor that we used to have, where we used to have 30 somethings against teenagers, and it always brings the teenagers on. So why not? Let's see what the old guys can do and what they can bring out of the young guys. I think that's going to be two very colourful additions to the MX2 category in the British Championship.
Colourful addition, a rider with plenty of experience and podiums at world level. Davy Pooches, we saw him towards the end of the season. I saw him at Weymouth Beach Race. Then for the Absolute MX KTM, Mark McCann sponsored team. He's got it in his locker. Like, could you see him on the box this year?
He got into the top 10 last year with no prep, came straight off the couch. The team gave him a phone call because they needed a rider. And yeah, he came up with them. He's got a mechanic that he used to work with back in the GP times that he gets on well with and works well with and trusts. So with Davey, it's all mental. If he believes he can do it, he could be on the podium for sure, especially on the sandy circuits. He's just got that beautiful, natural Dutch sand technique that only comes from growing up in the stuff. And yeah, like I say, he got MX2 Grand Prix podiums, but they were 10 to 12 years ago. So against the likes of Hurlings in MX2, this is where he was. So yeah, there's the ability there. Hopefully, if he'll get the fitness up there because he's got something to chase, and the team are 1,000% behind him. So it's going to be, yeah, colourful is the right word for both that team and also for Davey himself. So yeah, he could be a real factor, and for me, it's just another good veteran yardstick for the young riders to measure themselves against. If they can put this guy behind them, then they're looking really promising. And that's really what they should be doing. If they're teenage talent that's going to get anywhere, they should be able to put Davy Pooches away. If they can't, well, Davy's not going to make it easy for them. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Cool. And there's just a few riders I was going to mention then before we move on to predictions. Then Gav Stevenson, a rider very rarely mentioned, but he's a rider that's there or thereabouts. Again, damp, wet, grimy, shitty. Gav Stevenson, another rider that just seems to be able to put two motors together and get results. Max Harris, who took a round of the Scottish Motocross Championship last year. Watch out for him, because I think he's a rider that you could well see getting in, creeping into the top tens. The Wainwrights, interesting that Jamie and Howard Wainwright are on those entry lists. Two riders with a lot of talent that could, on their day, make the top 10. And I've also got Josh Coleman in there as well, a rider that has had some success. Very good on a two-stroke. I don't know if he will ride a two-stroke, but he's very good on a two-stroke. But, we could go on and on, because there is a hell of a lot. There's expected to be at least 70 riders at Hawkstone in MX2. So there is going to be 2 groups of qualification and an LCQ. So there is going to be a lot of riders there. There could well be some riders that aren't on our entry list at the moment that rock up to that one. So we might be missing out on those guys. So plenty to watch out for in the MX2 class. Excited to see what MX2 brings. So now it is prediction time.
Okay, so I guess we've got to come to that point now, Paul, where we make fools of ourselves and do predictions. Yeah, even if we've been making fools of ourselves for the whole podcast.
Mate, it's so tricky. Like, honestly, I've got scribbles and all sorts going on. It's tricky. It's so tricky. It always is, but that is the beauty of it. MX2 was tricky last year. It's tricky this year. Got proved wrong by lots of people, lots of times.
Yeah.
Most notably Tommy Searle, to be fair. This year, I hope loads of people prove us wrong, because I like it when it's completely unpredictable and random and new heroes emerge. But yeah, who's going first?
I'll go for it because I feel like people are waking up here in Argentina and it's messing up the signal. So I'm hoping that we can get the predictions out, and you might have to close the show, but we'll see what we can do. I'll go 5th place, Joe Brooks.
Okay, Joe Brooks in 5th for Ben. I've gone Joel Rizzi. Do you want a reason, or
Cool.
do we just happy to go through it?
Go on. You can put a reason if you want. Yeah.
I think Joel's going to warm up. I think he's going to have a good year. I think he's going to be a good 5th as well.
Yeah, fingers crossed, as always.
You got a lot of fingers crossed.
I have, yeah, I know it's become a buzzword. I apologize if it's irritating people. I've got hope. I'm full of hope. I always want our guys to do well. I don't like to see anybody fail. And obviously in this sport, not everyone's going to win, but I just want to see people do well. Because especially now, I'm working there, I'm getting to know them. It's I don't want to offend anybody with predictions or what I say, but it's just like I think Jason Thomas said about Chase Sexton that I like Chase. I don't think he likes me because I'm criticizing him, but that's the job. So we'll see. We'll see if we've got it all tied down. Right. Anyway, I'll shut up. 4th, Billy Askew.
Interesting, because I've got Billy Askew as 4th as well.
Yeah.
Which I think could be a good start. I think he'd be disappointed with 4th, but I think that will be a good starting point for him for this year.
Yeah. Yeah. A mistake-free day, I think, will improve that. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen. So we'll see.
Okay. 3rd.
3rd, I've got Guillaume Duinson.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I've gone for Tommy Searle.
Okay.
I think he's sort of going to do that all year, which still might get him the title. To be fair, I think he's going to be hovering around that podium all year.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I'm worried about my predictions for the top 2 now, but yeah, I think you might be right on that one.
Okay.
2nd, I've gone Charlie Heyman.
Okay.
I think he's going to take a step up. So we'll see. But
Okay. I've gone Guillaume Duinson. I think he's going to win him. Yeah, I think he's going to win one. I think he'll win a moto. Don't know if he'll win 2, but he'd certainly win 1. Okay, who's your winner?
Okay, I am going to go. I'm going to go for Tommy. He's just, I'm fed up of him proving me wrong, and you know. So yeah, that's I just can't see at the moment. I can't see anybody quite beating him.
Okay. Well, I've gone for Joe Brooks. Just got a funny feeling. I just think he's going to be really good this year. You think he was really good last year and he just came in the middle of the season. He's got a win to under his belt. Very quiet. I just feel he's just going to come in there and be really, really good straight away. Just got that vibe. Don't know why. We both not put
It's quite weird because
Musto in there, but that might be because of that injury doubt.
Yeah, yeah, I am worried about that injury. I just hope that he can pull through it. But yeah, he's not. He's he's not an eternal optimist himself. So yeah, if he's worried about it, then that's not an indication. You know, he's going to be worried about anything, I think. But yeah, I just yeah, it's one of those. I can't see him in the top five with a shoulder injury around one of the most demanding circuits in the world. So yeah, later in the year for sure. But I think Hawkstone is very, very tough. But it's weird. I'd almost like to see your podium more than I'd like to see mine.
Yeah,
But
you keeping the faith.
yeah,
I think because he rubbed your nose in it so many times last year, and mine. And he rubbed both our noses in it last year, Tommy, didn't he? So you just
yeah.
been
I mean,
on.
was it Landrake? Was it
I don't think
Landrake?
we put
Neither
him
of
in
us
the
had
top
him in the
five.
top five.
Yeah, and he went and won it. Yeah. So
So yeah,
there we go. Well, we'll put the
it's one
graphic
of those.
on socials, and then everybody can rip us apart and give us their top fives for Hawkstone MX2.
Yeah, I mean, I did have John Adamson in there, but then you reminded me about Gyn Dewinson. So yeah, that's I would not be surprised to see John in the top three in one of the races, if not two of the races. He could do a podium, I think. But
Yeah. Do you know
yeah,
what? I nearly
this
had Dixon as the win. I nearly had him there as the winner.
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, he's certainly got the talent. So from his point of view, and for the Gabriel SS24 team, who I think are fantastic. Ross Hill is now their new chief mechanic. He's been with Casval the last 2 years. He went with Cass to Venroy, and now he's gone back to the Gabriel team as crew chief. And he is a solid operator, a very funny guy, and yeah, will be good to see him back at the British Championship scene as well. So yeah, it's going to be it's just such a cracking season. This is why we go racing. We don't know. Our predictions could be completely wrong as always. And yeah, it's going to be fantastically entertaining. So I'm just going to repeat the message before we got to sign off here. But yeah, Hawkstone Park, 15th of March is going to be fantastic. So yeah, in the meantime, I better get to this track in Argentina.
Yeah, and before you go, so next week's show will be the MX1 preview show. Obviously, even more of a build up because we are a week away. Just one thing that's cropped up: Harry Lee has been invited to ride SMX next in Birmingham, Alabama. So that's exciting. So we'll be getting a bit more info about that from Harry, but that's exciting for him. And obviously, you're building up for the first round of MXGP this weekend.
Yeah.
You are going to make some predictions. I won't put you on the spot right now, but there will be some predictions on our socials of Ben and me of the top five. We'll just do the season, shall we? We'll go MXGP and MX2 for the season. But yeah, what's the vibes? Is there there's been a lot of preseason races where we've pitched certain riders against others, but we haven't seen all of them together. What's sort of the vibe in the industry over in Argentina of who's going to come through?
Well, one of our cameramen, who I won't name, has always been more of an AMA fan, really, more than a GP fan.
That's why you're not naming him, is that why?
Exactly, yeah. He's working with MXGP now, and yeah, he's actually said that he is more excited for an MXGP season than he ever has been, because not just that he's working it, but also because We just don't know who's going to win. It's just it's full of crazy stories. For me, there's three groups of contenders for the title. You've got the guys who were there last year, Fevert and Coonan, on the same bikes. All they've changed is their number. I can't wait to see Coonan. That number 5 looks sweet. And of course, the number 1 plate on the Roman's bike. So you've got those two who were there last year. And we know that if they stay healthy, they'll be there all year and look great. Then you've got the two veterans who are changing. You've got Hurlings and Geiser, both on brand new bikes, both almost all-time greats for sure. And how are they going to adapt to their new bikes, their new teams, their new environments? Probably very well, because they're just winners. They make it happen. So, they are going to be factors. And even just seeing them in different colors is fantastic. And then you've got the rookies, the 3 MX2 World Champions upgrading to MXGP, Kai de Wolf, and Andrea Adamo and Tom Vial. I can see Vial being a real dark horse for the title. He just puts it together. I don't think America saw the best of Tom. And I think he's going to be a real factor in this series. He does not make mistakes as much as I think some of the others could do. So he's my dark horse pick for even the title. But the big worry is that Kai de Wolf isn't fit because he missed the Lierop race through, I believe, a hand injury. So, we just hope that he is able to ride at least and build his season and be a contender through the year, because I've got him lined up to be on behind the gate for the Dutch round. I'm going to just put it out there because they offered, and I'd take the hand off, because de Wolf against Hurlings at the Dutch round, it's mouthwatering. All season you just look at the stories to come, and it's just, I'm not just because I work for them, I'm a fan of the sport, and to see MXGP this year, the lineup is absolutely delicious. So let's hope that it delivers what it promises, because it promises so much.
Yeah, and we're going to see some of these riders in 7th or 8th position. That is just a great sport, isn't it? Yeah.
By sheer necessity, they cannot.
Some of them are going to be in 7th or 8th position, and that is a crazy thought of how deep it is, and that goes without even mentioning Renault and just a heap of other riders.
Yeah,
that are GP
last
winners.
Year's winner.
Yeah,
last year's winner in Argentina was Renault. Healthy and solid, that kid is a contender. He's still 25 years old. That is not old at all. You wouldn't believe that, but this is it. There's stories everywhere. We haven't even talked about the Ducatis, the Fantics, the Jago
Fernandez.
Fernandez, who won in 23, he was 4th in the championship last year. It's so easy to overlook these people because the headline stories are so dazzling. But it's just crazy. Beniston in the class, he's a GP winner. He could win in France, easy. He could do that. It's this level of talent is just bubbled up into the surface in MXGP this year. It might not last. We might lose a couple of them to the States. But even MX2 is still exciting. Langenfelder, I think Sasha Coonan could be a title threat. The Coonans as twin world champions 2026 is highly likely. It's not just possible, it's probable, I feel, because they've both got the pace and it's just staying on. Liam Everts, make a break year. Got to happen this year, I feel. If he's not MX2 world champion or close this year, then he ain't ever going to be to the level. I don't think he's ever going to be the level of his father anyway, but for sure, if he's going to be world champion this year, is his biggest chance yet. And Langenfelder, I feel, will want to dominate completely to set himself up for an MXGP move in 2027. But man, there's stories everywhere you look. We can't predict it, and that's what we love about motocross. So
well, then you're going to have to predict it, I'm afraid, because we've already said now that we're putting them. So you're going to have to.
Cool. We can do that.
Spot on. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, Ben. I know from Argentina, from your hotel room. Looks lavish. They put you up in the best, mate. It's what
lavish is what it's not. I missed my first hotel room at Villa Langostura now 2 years ago was beautiful. This is not that. But I can't complain. I look out of the window and you can see the Andes and this amazing lake. And Bariloche is a nice town. It's really good. So massively grateful to have this job and to be able to get and see these guys up close at all these amazing places. And I don't want to go on about it, but it's a real privilege to be in this position. And yeah, sometimes still can't quite believe it. So here we go. 2026 is on us. Let's have it.
Let's have it. Right. Well, have a great weekend, Ben. We will join you next week with a little bit of jet lag, but you need to be sharp because you've got to do your MX1 predictions next week for the British Championship, which will be our All British Motocross Show MX1 preview show. Bloody hell, I made a mouthful of that. Next week, and it is leading up to Hawkstone Park. Can't wait. Super excited for it. Yeah, go and enjoy Argentina, Ben.
Will do. Thanks so much for everyone for listening. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. And if you agree or disagree with our predictions, apologies to any riders or any teams I've upset or insulted. Just trying to do my job. Trying to pick out what's going to happen in motocross is almost impossible. And I hope you appreciate that. It's tough and that we do our best. But thanks so much to everyone for listening. Thanks, Paul, for having me on. And yeah, we shall speak to you next time on the All British Motocross Podcast. From myself, Ben Rumbold, and Paul Luton. See you out there. Have a great weekend up in Scotland, everybody who's going. And yeah, see you next time on the podcast. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.